hanggang wala pa pala akong pinipresent. Okay? At talagang dadami yung constituents sa ilalim nung tree diagram. So the longer your sentence is, mas mahaba syempre yung magiging diagram eh. Tayo nang lumabas. Yun. Oops. Yan. So, continuing. So, we all have discussed the rules, and we have, as a recap, there's a pattern, and the ultimate, and one of the basic rules, if not ultimate rule, is that a sentence is composed of the noun phrase and the verb phrase, and sometimes it is combined with auxiliary. Especially if it would indicate something in the future. Or if it's something indicating conditions, would, could, should, or chances, may, and can, modals, will, and shall. All right. I think we ended here. So other sentences may fit this same set of phrase structural rule or may be described as other rules. For instance, the following phrase structure rules describe this sentence. So sentence B, he will look, so instead of the art student, it was replaced with the pronoun. He will look at some beautiful paintings. So if we are going to have the phrase structure rules of this, or parang hindi pa siya naka-diagram, na tree diagram, naka-plot, we can have this as sentence. Magsimula ka ulit sa sentence, noun phrase, auxiliary, and verb phrase. And then, if you're going to dissect yung noun phrase, ngayon, meron ka ng category na pronoun because pronoun na yung ginamit niya. Or it could also be categorized as adjective noun, adjective, phrase, and then noun. Kasi yun din yung isa pang possibility na noun phrase siya. Kasi actually, ito yung tinutukoy niya dyan. Beautiful because it adds some beautiful paintings. So, noun phrase din siya. Kaya lang may modifier siya na adjective phrase. So, si adjective phrase mo, ito nga yung karaniwan na adjective, or adverb and adjective. And then, noun mo is, noun, and then I could possibly have it. Teka lang. Distract ako. Anyway. And it's plural form. Verb, ito lang yung mga possibilities that we can have on applying or the patterns that we can have pag diniagram na natin yung itong sentence letter B. And then, as usual, si verb phrase, ang lagi niyang possible na parts ay isang verb at isang prepositional phrase. Si prepositional phrase, isang preposition at isang noun phrase. So, yun yung kaya tinatawag na rule kasi ibig sabihin parang magiging familiar ka na si verb phrase, ang karaniwang composition niya is verb and then preposition, or prepositional phrase. The prepositional phrase, ang karaniwang composition niya could be possible is the preposition itself and then the noun phrase. Noun phrase na possible na adjective and then noun. Si adjective phrase, ang possible parts niya is isang adverb at isang adjective. Yon, ito yung kasi sinasabi, rules. Pinapakitaan tayo ng patterns na in grammar, may sinusunod kang patterns when it comes to phrases, mga possibilities. Pero minsan, mababago siya kasi alam naman natin na we're all aware na medyo malurit ang English, especially when it comes to constructions, and it comes to, at pagka ginamitan mo pa siya ng functions sa sentences. Okay? Ito din yun. In the phrase structure rules here, noun is abbreviated as N in some places and spelled out in others. So dito sa reference natin na to, so dito sa reference natin na to, ang N ay will be represented as wait lang Wait lang. Okay. So, and it is spelled out as noun when the noun can be broken down further. Okay? So, plural nga kasi paintings. Okay? Tama. In the example above, the word paintings can be broken down into noun PL because it's plural. PL stands for plural. In general, if a component is a phrase, can be broken down further, a longer representation of the component is used. So hanggat kaya pang i-broken down, hahaba at hahaba talaga yung pag-represent or paggamit mo or pagpapakita mo ng constituents at ng function at ng category of that word. Okay? When the component cannot be broken down further, we use a shorter representation. So yun nga, N at saka V, then prep, at saka adjective, adj, and then adv pagka isa na lang. Yun na talaga yung, na-reach nyo na yung last and pinaka-ultimate specific category na dapat niyang ma-reach. Okay? So, sentence B differs from sentence A in the first noun phrase. In sentence B, the art student is replaced by the pronoun he. Obvious naman, di ba? And then the phrase structure rule for sentence B, braces are used for the noun phrase. Ito, bakit? Braces, that means either or. May determiner at saka po pwedeng pronoun or po pwedeng adjective and noun. Kasi yung kanina ay yung earlier na example rather is art student adjective phrase or the art student adjective phrase and then noun. Nag-represent ka ngayon. Pinalitan mo ngayon yung the art student ng he. So pronoun siya. Okay? Nasaan ako? Ayun. A noun phrase is in sentence B can be a pronoun or an adjective phrase. We all know na pag pronoun, it replaces nouns. Okay? And then, in our case, it replaces the adjective the adjective phrase and the noun or the noun phrase na representation na doon sa unang sentence. Okay? Saan ako? In this case, two adjectives plus a noun. Ayun. An individual noun phrase cannot include both a noun and two adjectives and a noun. Kasi magiging an individual noun phrase kasi magiging dalawang noun phrase na yon. Kaya nga 'di ba, individual noun phrase. Hindi ka po pwedeng magsama ng isang pronoun at isang adjective or dalawang adjective and a noun kasi parang combine siya. Kumbaga parang he and the beautiful daughter. Siguro ganon. So hindi na siya dalawang noun phrase na yan. Hindi lang siya individual noun phrase. Okay, so the parentheses around the constitute mean that it is optional. Ito yan, yung nasa baba. These are optional. For example, the line, adjective phrase, or adverb phrase. Adjective in the phrase structure rule for a sentence means that there are two adjective phrases in the sentence. One includes an adverb and one as na pwedeng possible or optional na art student, di ba? Yung art student, pwede naman the handsome art student, dalawa na yung adverb mo. I mean yung adjective mo. Or the very helpful art student, yung very, pwede siyang mawala. Optional siya. Pero it's considered pa rin as adjective phrase. So yung mga possibilities, tinitingnan natin yung mga patterns and possibilities na anong component ng mga phrases na ito. Okay? Next. We can now combine the rules for A and B. The combined rule will describe both sentences. These are the combined rule. Sentence. Adjective sentence is composed of a noun phrase, an auxiliary, and the verb phrase. So doon sa letter A, the art student, yun yung noun phrase. Sa letter B, sa sentence B rather, it's he. Will is both, parehong will ang auxiliary. And then verb phrase is yung look at the beautiful paintings. Hindi pala kasama yung will. Looks at the beautiful painting. Tama ba ako? Yung sentence. He will look, yung will, auxiliary, then look at some beautiful paintings, yung kanilang verb phrase. So, if you're going to stream down or break down further yung noun phrase, it's either, yun nga, ang kaninang sinabi ko, he, pronoun yun. Then the art student is an adjective phrase and then a noun. Okay, next. Yung adjective phrase could be optional na may adverb, adjective, adjective. Or pwedeng adjective lang siya, one word na adjective. Okay? Noun. Nakasama nito. Pwede siyang plural. So, lalagyan mo siya ng PL sa dulo. Pag plural. But otherwise, wala lang. N lang siya. So, si verb phrase mo ngayon, i-break down mo pa siya further. Si verb phrase ay look. Ito yung verb. Ito ay prepositional phrase. So, pattern na po pwedeng possible na prepositional phrase yung nasa dulo. Okay, nakuha mo na si verb. Na-breakdown na, hindi mo na pwedeng i-breakdown na si verb. Right? So, ito naman yung i-breakdown mo kasi ito yung natirang phrase, yung prepositional phrase. Si prepositional phrase, nahati siya kay preposition at saka kay noun phrase. Again, pareho din naman doon sa letter A at sa letter B. Nagkaiba lang sila sa noun phrases. So, just to emphasize, yung some beautiful paintings, yung some beautiful is an adjective phrase, and then paintings is a noun phrase with plural. Okay? So, lalagay nyo noun phrase PL kasi plural siya. And then, itong some beautiful painting is some is an adverb. Parang as how. Parang gano'n. Adverb. Yeah, actually, noun phrase. So, adverb, verb. Ay, adverb and then adjective. Adverb and then adjective. So, na-breakdown mo na lahat. Yung iyong sentence. At the end of this procedure, we combine the rules of every type of English sentence into a general set of rules. We would have a complete grammar or of the syntax component of English. Such a grammar would be called as generative grammar. A generative grammar is a finite set of rules that can be hypothetically produced in infinite numbers of utterance. So yun nga, kaya siya tinawag na generative grammar kasi meron kang finite set of rules, meron kang definite set of rules. Pinakita naman di ba yung pattern na, okay, si noun phrase, possible yan. Kung titingnan mo, pwede pa siyang, ang combination niya ay isang noun at isa ay isang noun at yung kanyang, yung kanyang modifiers o adjective, noun, determiner, adjective phrase, and then noun. Si verb phrase. Ito ang kanyang rules. Possible yan, isang verb, tapos yung kasunod niya, prepositional phrase. Okay, si prepositional phrase. Ang ka-partner niyan, or mabubuo lang yan, basta't merong preposition, tapos meron kang adjective phrase, at saka noun phrase ulit. Noun phrase ulit, at saka adjective phrase. Something like that. Kaya tinawag siya na generative grammar. Of number of finite, so kahit gaano kahaba yan, somehow, yun yung magpo-fall mo na pattern or magpo-form mo na pattern. Alright? So yung tinatawag ng generative grammar. Generative grammar, it would enable us to generate all sentences in English speakers could produce. Ibig sabihin, mabi-breakdown mo pa. Okay? And it would never produce an ungrammatical sentence. So long, according to generative grammar, so long you're following such rules. Yung kaninang present natin, hindi ka makakapag-form ng isang grammatical sentence because you followed the rule, the phrase structure rules. Okay, the production of infinite utterances is made possible by the recursive property of language. Recursion allows one type of syntax structure to be included inside another structure of the same type, such as noun phrase. Diba? Parang, okay, si noun phrase natagpuan mo pa rin siya sa verb phrase. Recursion yon. Kasi diba si verb phrase, prepositional phrase, at saka verb. Si prepositional phrase, ang possible niyang mga components or parts ay isang preposition at isang noun phrase again. At si noun phrase, pwede mo na naman siyang i-breakdown into verb, into adjective phrase, and the noun. Yun yung tinatawag na recursion. Na within, at karaniwang ginagamitan ng recursion ay si noun phrase na umuulit-ulit siya. Doon inside one structure or one utterance. Or isang sentence. Okay? Ay, sana na-explain ko ng maayos. Actually, medyo tricky kasi talaga tong part na to. So, kapit lang tayo, guys. Is everything clear? Malinaw naman. Nagigets tayo. Nagigets yung natin, yung flow ng discussion.
Opo.
Okay. Pag may questions just raise your questions para may address natin. Kasi actually, dapat ito, may malaki tayong whiteboard. Doon tayo nagdo-drawing. Tapos, yan? Masaya sana to kung naunahan. Sino makagawa ng, unahan by group. Kaya meron kayong malaking kanya-kanyang whiteboard. Ang saya nito pagka may klase. Yung kanya-kanya, bumigay ako ng mag-word ng, simula tayo mga three word na sentence. Yan ba? Halimbawa, ang pattern ay subject, linking verb, and then complement, something like that. Tapos, ibibreak, kanya-kanya, per group, kanya-kanya, malaking man yun. It's either 1/2 or depende, or 1/4 na illustration board, tapos doon kayo magsasagot. O kung meron kayong malaking whiteboard na 1/2, 1/4 ang laki, tapos doon kayo aunahan, tapos, ay, ang saya. Kaya lang, ano ba yan? Parang contest, the battle of the brains, parang, alam niyo pagka kwento ko lang, pagka in actual, yung may face-to-face, ang ginagawa kong, minsan magpapaquiz ako, group quiz. Para kami mapu-quiz bee. Ganon. Tapos, ganon ginagawa ko. Masarap kasi magpa-quiz ng ganon sa edo. Walang nagdadaan, competitive lahat. Walang nang kokopyahan, nagtatake pa ng mga sagot. Oy, so kaya magsusumbong pa, ma'am, si ganito po nang uopya ng sagot. Yan, masaya. Masaya ang klase pagka sa education. Feeling ko, nag-enjoy tayo. Anyway, siguro naman by next semester, let's pray na maging okay na. Kahit, parang hybrid. Yung kahit man lang once or twice a week, magkita-kita tayo ng mukhaan, parang gano'n. Para, yun din yung chance na doon kayo magpapasa ng mga output para hindi lahat sa online. Sakit na yung mata ko. Pa lang, check ako na test paper ninyo eh. Parang halo-halo yun halo-halo sa inyo. Diba? Pero kaya ko namang yan yun. Pag-iwa-iwalayin dahil naka-organize naman siya sa Google Form. So, nasa pa lang ako. 35. 100 kasi. Madali lang matapos. Anyway, going back. So now, we discuss about recursion in English. Nagre-recur. Or in language rather. The behavioralists believe that a child acquires language by learning a limited number of representative sentence and then producing new sentence based on the pattern of the representative sentence. Yun. So sa behavioralist, mga nag-aaral ng children's behavior. I don't know if you have already as a major subject pa yata siguro yun, yung child and adolescent development. So doon, yung development, ng human development will be discussed. So, in language, kailangan may example ka muna na part ng language. Kaya nga, di ba, napapansin nyo, dun sa mga nursery rhymes na Dave and Eva, A is for apple, apple. B is for ball, ball. Meron kasing, dahil according to studies, yung at mga behavioralist, children learn by knowing the pattern. Kung alam nila yung pattern na it's produced as B, the B is produced as B, they would follow. And then later on, pag nakaka-recognize at age of around 5 or 6, marirecognize, nag-start na sila magbasa. Marirecognize nila na yung letter B is produced by putting your lips together na B, and parang bigla mong ibubuga yung air. And sometimes, hindi man and it happens na hindi nila na unconscious sila na ganun yung pronunciation kasi ginagaya lang naman nila kung paano sa kanila tinuro. Kaya pansinin nyo, di ba, yung mga bata ngayon, British accent, because they were exposed to videos from UK, si Peppa, Australian, and then yung high five, English, American accent, hindi pala, medyo hindi ako masyadong familiar sa high five, pero English din sila, may accent din. Kaya papansin nyo, yung mga bata ngayon, mas magaling pa sa atin magkaroon ng accent. And mas naiintindihan nila yung English. Although mayroong nakakaintindi ng nakakaintindi ng Tagalog. O, halimbawa, utusan mo, pulutin mo yun. Lalakad lang siya. Pero ewan ko, if it happens to you, kung meron kayong mga pamangkin sa bahay or mga kami, alaga kayong baby, mag-anak ninyo sa bahay. Dahil exposed sila sa English as language ng kanilang first learning sa alphabet and sa numbers and sa appearances, sa nursery rhymes, ganyan. Tinatranslate mo rin sa English yung sinasabi mo. Ako kasi ganun eh. Parang, kunin mo yun, you get that. Saka lang siya magmamadali na. Yan. Then, buksan mo yung ilaw. Ganyan, you open the lights. Parang ganun. Or third, switch on the lights. Hindi pala open the lights. Tayo lang naman palang, ewan ko kumabot na kayo sa sa English, sa Philippine English, sa com. Pero tayo lang naman mga Pilipino ang nagsasabi na merong open and close the light. Dapat switch on and switch off the light. Sa atin lang yun. Sinabi mo sa mga Westerners na open the light. What? Sa atin yun, maintindihan natin yun. Kasi buksan yung ilaw, i-on yung ilaw. Okay? Next. Asa na? Yun. So may pattern. Kaya sila natututo sa language because of the pattern na nakuha nila around their, nakuha nila with the people around them or with the environment they belong to or with the shows or with the media that they're being exposed to. Okay, but this does not account for the productivity in everyday language, let alone poetry and other creative speech and writing. So Noam Chomsky and his colleague have demonstrated one process that generates productivity. Kasi diba sa poetry, tsaka sa ibang creative writing, sa creative speeches, kumbaga, hindi naman yun yung pang-araw-araw natin na pananalita. Di ba? Hindi ka naman tumutula pagka ikaw ay pag-converse. Pero sabi ni Noam Chomsky, meron silang process na ginawa para mas maging generative at maging productive yung inyong paggamit ng language, ng grammar. So it is called recursion. So recursion rules allow, for instance, a noun phrase to be made up of other noun phrase with connecting elements. So we can say in this utterance that a noun phrase, isang buong noun phrase could be made up by another noun phrase na may connecting elements. Pwedeng conjunctions, pwedeng prepositions, ganyan. Pwedeng conjunctions and conjunctions na pala. Okay? Or adjectives or pronoun or other modifiers. Example ito. The boy that chased the dog, that chased the cat, that chased the squirrel, that chased the bird, that chased the bug. Noun phrase lang to. Kasi, after, parang hindi siya, phrase lang siya eh. After that, ano pang ginawa ng dog? The boy that chased the dog, that chased the cat, that chased the squirrel, that chased the bird, that chased the bug. Nag-chase lang sila. So after that, kasi yung boy, nag-chase niya yung dog. Yung dog, hinabol niya yung pusa. Pwede kasi, may possibility kasi na after na napapagod na yung boy. Pwede kasi after nung hindi maabutan ng dog yung cat, nito na rin yung so yung mga succeeding action, kumbaga si boy, hindi na nasundan kung ano talaga yung nangyari. That chase what? Just that chase the dog. And then, Kumbaga, parang may kulang. Ako kasi parang gano'n yung feeling, parang may kulang. Dahil kasi parang itong that na to, dinidescribe lang naman niya si Boy na yung ginawa niya. Pero wala pa siyang, si Boy mismo, yung pinaka main action, hindi pa niya nagagawa. When, pwede naman, kung gusto mo siyang kompletohin, yung boy, kung gusto mo siyang kompletohin, when up the tree, parang ganun. After the chase, parang ganun. Pero ito kasi, parang dinidescribe lang naman nung mga chase na to, yung dinidescribe na itong mahabang phrase na to, yung ginawa yung boy, yung batang humabol, wala pa yung I. Ibig sabihin, wala pa yung I, yung Tagalog. Ang batang humabol sa aso, na humabol sa pusa, na humabol sa squirrel, na humabol sa ibon, na humabol sa insekto, sa bug, kulang. Wala yung I. Pwede kasi is tired. Di ba? Yun yung complete sentence. So in this way, we can create an infinitely long sentence. Okay? The phrase structure is recursive rule. This, for instance, the phrase structure rule, prepositional phrase, and then noun phrase is recursive in that it can generate all the prepositional phrase in the sentence. Ito yan, prepositional phrase ito. Pati ito. That pati ito, hanggang doon sa bag. Alright? So prepositional phrase, prep plus noun phrase is recursive in that it can generate all the prepositional phrases in the sentence. So the people in the car, on the freeway, on the lane, by the wall, drove home. Ito, complete sentence to. In Tagalog, para mas madali nating maintindihan, ang mga tao na nasa kotse, na nasa freeway, na nasa lane, na malapit sa wall, ay papauwi na. Ito, kasi may drove home. So ito ay infinitely long sentence. Pero ito kasi, in the car, ang mga kotse na nasa freeway, na nasa lane, malapit sa wall, ay papauwi na. So, ang haba nitong sentence na to. Parang, describe mo, para lang on your imagination, naisip mo na, okay, the people na nasa kotse, na nasa ang banda, freeway, nasa ang banda yung freeway, na nasa lane, na malapit sa wall, ay papauwi. Okay? So the rule of prepositional phrase or prep noun can be applied over and over and over again in same sentence, leading to a more and more complex sentence as illustrated in the diagram below that provides a noun, a phrase marker only to the application of the prepositional phrase, prep noun, and does not diagram the entire sentence. The verb phrase is not included. Ito, hindi pa nga kasama kasi ang verb phrase mo, ito lang naman. Verb phrase, isang verb at isang noun phrase. Noun phrase, pwede mo na luba na noun. Okay? So, tingnan mo, wala pa naman talagang verb phrase dito. Ito lang yung kinuha nila. Itong part lang na to. Noun phrase, determiner, noun, prepositional phrase, in, noun phrase, the car, prepositional phrase, in, noun phrase, then the freeway. Again, prepositional phrase is composed of is partner with the preposition and the noun. So ito yun, no? Diba? Ilang beses to? 1, 2, 3. Tama ba? 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, 4. 4. By the car. Or, ito, preposition, by the wall. Preposition in, noun phrase na the lane. Ito din. Preposition na on, noun phrase na the freeway. So, kanina. Preposition na in, the car. Yung determiner, the noun phrase. So, yun yung recursion. Pwede siyang mangyari. But then, hindi pa siya complete sentence kung wala kang noun phrase, na verb phrase. Pero i-include mo yung verb phrase dito, drove home. Si drove, verb. Home, pwedeng ilagay mo kaga is noun phrase, NP, baba mo ulit. Kasi alam naman natin na pwedeng one word ang noun phrase. And then, baba mo ulit, saka mo siya lalagay na i-determine na noun. Okay? Okay. Next, there are several different approaches to generative grammar. Depending on the approach, phrase structure rules can be written quite differently. In addition, we only have only written rules for simple declarative sentences. Ito nga. The sentence below is a yes or no interrogative question. So, ang generative, so sabi nga, may mga approaches. Hindi, itong pinakita natin na sentence, noun phrase, auxiliary, and verb phrase ay declarative form. What about pagpa-question? The general rule for this type of sentence is sentence, auxiliary, noun phrase, and then the verb phrase. So, by the rule, alam naman natin na ang noun phrase, possible niyang maging part sa isang as an adjective phrase, isang noun. At si verb phrase, ang possible niyang maging parts ay si verb at si prepositional phrase. Okay? So, example, ito nga. Will you come here? Will is the auxiliary. You is the noun phrase. Come here is the verb phrase. Come is the verb, and then here is adjective, ano yun? Is your adverb phrase. Ayun, pwede siyang one word. Again, pwede ulit silang one word. Then, ibababa mo na lang, parang automatically, kailangan mo lang i-represent na siya ay adverb phrase. And then, baba mo na lang ulit na adverb. So, kung so, ito ang auxiliary mo. Ito ang noun phrase. Ito yung verb phrase. Verb. And then, here. Here is, ano yun? Ano nga bang part ng speech to? Yun nga. Tama. It's adverb of place. Adverb phrase. Baba mo lang ulit. Parang hindi na, pagka one word, represent mo muna siya as verb phrase. As adverb phrase. And then, singular. So, we do not, we have not covered phrase, structure rule, or phrase markers for compound, complex, or compound, and then compound complex, and then compound complex, and compound complex sentence, and other classes of sentence. We leave that to a course specific topic for syntax. So, ano yan? Pero, parang just to give emphasis on the rules na inaral natin yung basic na may recursive. Pero just in case na meron kayong dalawang simple sentences, knowing the pattern, or wala kasing parang ano yan eh, walang specific solution. I mean, kumbaga, depende sa sentence, tsaka mo siya gagawa ng tree diagram. Kaya kung iba-iba tayo ng sentence, iba-iba tayo ng magiging tree diagram. Okay, so let's have si Noam Chomsky and Noam Chomsky and the generative grammar. So Noam Chomsky is born in 1928. I see he has been perhaps the best-known linguist in the world for more than 50 years, and his influence goes well beyond linguistics. So in 1957, he began to revolutionize the study of language with his book Syntactic, Syntactic Structures. His ideas were highly influenced by his interest in logic and mathematics. In the 1950s, Chomsky broke into the dominant school of thought in the linguistics, the structural approach. Then, there goes Leonard Bloomfield. So ang contribution ni Chomsky ay yung structural approach. Yun nga, kanina, yung natin, structure. Then si Leonard Bloomfield are and other and others championed the structural approach in linguistics. So Bloomfield was one of the best known American linguists of the part of the 20th century. The type of structuralism he developed was descriptive and is often referred to as the Bloomfieldian linguistics. His approach started from describing and classifying sounds and then morphemes in terms of their function. Teka lang guys, lilipat lang ako ng pwesto. Nakapag-charge naman ako. Para na kaming nasa sa call center. Ay, ayan, tahimik na. Where am I? Okay. His approach started with describing and classifying sounds and then morphemes in terms of their functions. And then, from principles developed from the study of phonology and morphology, more abstract unit would be studied with syntax and with syntax, the ending points of the analysis. So Bloomfield studied meaning, semantics, but most other Bloomfieldians thought that semantic was too abstract to be studied in any verifiable or empirical way, and therefore it ignored it. So yun nga, just to give a preview on syntax, iba-iba kasi tayo ng interpretation sa isang when it comes to meaning. Say for example, weed. Semantics-wise, kung ang kausap mo ay isang drug addict, ang weed, ibig sabihin sa kanila ay marijuana. But then, if your kausap is a gardener, the weed for them is the ligaw that they need to pull out from the ground because it would ruin it's just a sagabal, something like that. So, kaya hindi siya verifiable because marami tayong interpretation of different words according to the context of the sentence or of the situation or of the culture. All right? Next, with syntactic structure, Chomsky began to change the Bloomfieldian consensus. On Chomsky's view, language learning is motivated by an internal capacity to acquire language. Yun ang sabi ni Chomsky. This capacity evolves as hominins evolved into universal innate human ability to learn and analyze linguistic information. So some anthropologists use the term hominids instead of hominins. So para lang siyang pag-evolve daw nung homo sapiens, homo erectus, mga ganon, sa pag-evolve daw into other human learning or other human structure. Parang ganon daw, internal yung pag-develop. Kaya lang na meron kang, so initially, meron ka talagang pattern inside you na kailangan lang siyang i-enhance. Na it's already built inside you, parang ganon. Na kailangan mo na lang siyang i-enhance o para mas lumabas o mas ma-hone yung capability to use the language. The capability to acquire language. This universal grammar provides the general rules that allow us, at least as children, to learn any language. Kalakat na kayo, ha? Okay. Even with the minimum input from the environment. So, kaya matutunan ng isang bata ang language kahit konti lang daw yung input sa environment. Yun daw yun kasi universal grammar, UG, universal grammar. So, parang internally, meron ng process na nangyayari. Kung meron ng influences from the external environment, dagdag na lang yun to enhance. Parang ganun siya. So universal grammar is a general blueprint that permits the child to proceed from the general rules of all languages to the rule specific to his or his own languages. So parang yung universal grammar, parang especially sa atin, mga Pilipino, alam naman na yung pattern natin when it comes to the Filipino alphabet, A is A, also in English. So, meron tayong meron daw tayo internal structure na somehow, hindi ka blank, hindi sila parang, meron ng internal process na nangyayari. Kailangan lang siyang i-hone. Hanggang sa ma-adapt nila yung kanilang sariling language. Kaya nga, di ba, para mas yung universal language, universal grammar na to, mas mapag-tibay, kaya nga sa grade 1 to grade 3, ang ginagamit is mother tongue. Kasi you go back to the original, kasi kung ano yung naiintindihan nila sa mother tongue, kung ano yung mas madali daw natututo. Alright? So Chomsky believes that language learning is guided by an innate language acquisition. So meron kang device inside you. That is result of the human revolution. So nanggaling nga daw yan sa humanoids, sa humanids, sa hominids, ganyan. Hominids, yan. Na inside us, may naka-embroidered na language acquisition system or device sa loob ng ating sistema. Kailangan lang niyang ma-develop. Ma-develop in accordance sa language na talagang dapat nating matutunan or not yung native language mo or yung mother tongue. Alright? Si Bloomfield yan linguistic, emphasize linguistic performance. Ito naman. What the speaker actually says and what some linguists call a surface structure. At first, Chomsky emphasized linguistic competence, what the speaker subconsciously knows about his or her language and what might be called as the deep structure. Si Bloomfield, sabi niya, meron yung performance language or linguistic performance. Kung ano yung sinasabi ng speaker is surface structure. Si Chomsky naman, nag-emphasize siya sa competence. Kung ano yung underlying or subconscious knowledge naman nung language, nung speaker sa language. Deeper yon kasi kumbaga, kung ano yung, halimbawa, linguistic competencies, knowing the proper when to use exclamation point, when exclamation point is used, somehow it indicates a strong emotion. Pag question mark, it indicates subconscious. Meron siyang ganun na, okay, tanong to. Pagka nakita siya ng question, okay, tanong to. Meanwhile, yung surface structure, yung nakikita, kunyari, sinabi ng speaker na performance language. Kung paano siya sinabi. Kunyari, I believe that language language and communication are important tools in human life. Yeah. Yun yung surface structure. Yun yung pinerform lang niya yung language. Ganon. Right? Next. Early Chomskyan linguistics dealt with how deep the structure is transformed into surface structure. So from what just said, ano pa yung underlying knowledge about it? Yan, just sinabi ko sentence kanina, ano pa yung other, ano pa yung mas malalim na ibig sabihin pa noon? Hindi lang sa pagkakabigkas. Ano pa? Right? Asa na? Next. And how an infinite number of utterance can be generated from a finite numbers of rules and lexical items. Okay? For this reason, the Chomskyan approach has been called the mentalist approach, in which the subconscious knowledge of the native speakers of a language is emphasized. Kaya mentalist approach, kung ano yung, kumbaga, paano naman na-formulate yung sentence sa utak mo. Kasi yun yung sinatawag na Chomskyan approach. Formulation, di mo naman sinusulat yung sentence, di ba? Habang hindi naman siya lumalabas sa utak mo na the flower, di naman siya lumalabas sa mental siya. Nagpo-form ka ng sentence sa isip mo. Alright? Kaya mentalist. So this is contrast to Bloomfield School, which emphasize what is called the mechanistic approach. A rigid set of learned rules is used to form grammatical sentences. So pagka nag-alis ka daw sa mechanistic approach, pag wala ka doon sa rules na yon, ungrammatical ka. Parang ganon. Alright? So mechanistic approach cannot explain many things that are accounted by the mentalist approach. One of these things are the productivity. So paano mo describe further yung nangyayari na gusto mong i-describe. Alam mo yung kanina, the people in the car, in the lane, on the freeway, in the lane by the wall, drove home. Yun yung productivity. Kay Bloomfield dyan, hindi siya ma-explain na gano'n. Kasi mayroon siyang sinet na pattern or may sinet siyang rules. Alright? Bloomfieldian's idea that language is learned by mimicry does not account for how young children can produce utterances that they have never produced or heard before from a finite or finite number of words. So, sa kumbaga, kumbaga, language, according to Bloomfield, natututunan through imitation, mimicry, does not account for young children. Kumbaga, hindi daw natututunan yon ng young children. Dapat within na hindi pa na-expose doon sa rule. Something like that. Ganun yung sinasabi ni Bloomfield. So, but the mentalist approach postulates that human mind is like a software program designed to generate new sentence in demand. Nagigets nyo ba? Na si Bloomfield may rule. Kumbaga, ito na-encapsulate na ganito lang to be called grammatical. Meanwhile, yung kay Chomsky, kayang maging malurit ng sentence for as long as nafa-follow niya yung phrase, kaya niya mag-generate for as long as nakikita niya na
kompleto or may thought yung sentence. Kaya mag-generate ng new sentence in demand sa pangailangan. Okay, next. In 1980s, Chomsky introduced the principle and parameter theory. One problem with the concept of universal grammar is that language varies so much in their surface structure. True enough, di ba? Kung ano yung front, nagbavari yan. Nagbavari. Halimbawa, yung isang sentence na to in Tagalog, Tagalogin natin, ay nakakaraniwang ayos. Itong sentence na to hindi karaniwang ayos. Yun yung kanilang structure surface structure yun yung isa may I, yung isa wala. Di ba yung di karaniwang ayos yung may I? Tama ba ako? And then yung karaniwang ayos yun yung parang in English, it's the passive and the active sentence. Yung passive sentence, yung may by, kung saan yung subject, yung doer of the action is on the object part. Meanwhile, of course, yung active sentence, kung sino yung doer, yung subject, yung exact doer of the action. Yun yung surface. Kumbaga, yan yung parang naging one problem in universal, na-encounter sa concept ng universal grammar. Maraming phases or variation yung surface structure. Or do they? Then, the principle and parameter theory postulates that even though there are variations in language, these differences have specific principles and parameters or limitations. For instance, modifiers such as adjectives and adverbs can come before or after the thing that they modify, but not several words away from that modifier. O nga naman, di ba? It comes before or after the word that they modify. For the verbs, for the adjectives, they come before. Handsome prince. Pagka naman, adverb after. Dance beautifully. Minomodify ni adverb yung dance. Pero after siya. Pero wag namang masyado daw malayo. So, yun yung principles and parameter theory ni Chomsky. What else? So, the language acquisition device is programmed to allow certain possibilities and not others. Children have to learn from the speaking environment which possibility fits their language. So, merong factor C, environment, na para mas, kasi sa Pilipinas, diba, ayan nga sa Pilipinas, yung Philippine English, pag sinabi natin, okay, you open the lights, naiintindihan natin siya, nabubuksan niya yung ilaw. Kaya pag sinabi mo sa bata na, you open the lights. Although sa ibang country, sa English natives, na countries, parang hindi tama yun. Parang switch on the light, pero hindi open the lights. Diba? Pero sa atin, because of the environment, natutunan natin yung Philippine English nga, tinanggap na. So, kumbaga, it would fit yung term na yon. But then, sa English naman kasi, pinusundan pa rin natin is the American Standard English to be academically adept with English. Kung ano yung grammar sa English, doon tayo. Yung Philippine English naman kasi, kumbaga, para lang matanggap na may mga salita tayo na English na na-contribute natin sa world Englishes. Halimbawa, open the lights. Diba? Tapos I'll pass by your house later. Yun yung dadaan ako sa inyo mamaya. For a while, sandali lang. Diba? Wait a minute. Parang gano'n. Ganun yung grammatically correct. Pero tinanggap na lang din talaga ng buong mundo. Kasi globalized din naman ng mga Pilipino. Na pag narinig nila na gano'n, ibig sabihin, o pag kayo, nasa ibang bansa kayo, narinig nyo na gano'n, ay, Pinoy ito. Wala naman nagsasabi na Western na open the lights. Liban na lang. Or, may kakilalang Pilipino yung nagsasabi na foreigner na open the lights. Something like that. Okay? So, in 1995, Chomsky further modified this concept with the formulation of what is called the minimalism. Hindi to cake, ha? Minimalism or the minimalist program. Okay. In minimalism, Chomsky maintained the concept that there is one single grammatic system for all languages. Na ano lang, kumbaga, sa Filipino, English, kumbaga, meron silang, naiintindihan natin, ay nakita-translate natin sila ng maayos kasi merong ganong grammatical rule. Or may system, may isang single na system, right? But he eliminates the structures of deep and surface grammar, as well as other feature of earlier conceptualization in syntax. Explanation of the details of this is beyond the scope of this text. Yeah. So, there have explained, there has always been a competition theories of syntax and minimalism, and it's quite controversial. So, yun nga, iba tayo mag-search ng iba. You can have this, si Pieter, di ko na ito nahanap. So, offers a critical analysis. Peter A.M. Sorens offers a critical analysis. Although there's competing theories of syntax, Chomsky's ideas have been and continue to be very influential. One point of disagreement is that all linguists, psychologists, and biologists believe that there is a language acquisition device in the physical system. Hindi. Na, hindi sila nag-agree na yung tatlong profession na ito, linguist, psychologist, and biologist. So not all of them agrees na merong language acquisition device. However, the discovery of FOXP2 gene, which if defective, causes problem with the language acquisition, point towards a genetic potential of the language acquisition. So lagi parang sinasabi, meron akong, sino nga ba yung nag-propose noon? I forgot his proponent. Pero yung little black box in your brain na mayroon talagang part ng language sa utak natin na specific. Na during the time of your age, from 0 to 16 years old, if you have a cousin na nag-migrate or lumaki sa States, comparing them to parents, magkaiba sila ng linguistic pattern. Nakukuha nila yung accent. Ewan ko kung kilala niyo kung nanonood kayo ng TikTok, si Mama Oli, si Oliver at saka si Mama Lulu. Iba yung accent ni Oliver. Si Otak. Nakakatuwa kasi sila. Si Otaka, Yakisoba. Parang gano'n. Verified account sila. Your favorite mother and son duo. Parang gano'n. Kitang-kita mo na obviously si Oliver ay siguro lumaki siya sa States. Kasi yung accent niya, American accent, ibang-iba na. Iba ganun kasi yon. Sabi doon sa isang theory, doon little black box daw sa ating brain. At from 0 to 16 years old, kung lalaki yung bata sa States, makukuha niya yung accent ng American accent. Pero yung parents, hindi. Baliktad naman, kung halimbawa, mayroong bata na foreigner, tapos imagine mo, ang kulay niya, blonde, tapos nagtatagalog ng diretso-diretso. Kasi dito siya lumaki. Hindi siya, kumbaga, makakaroon na siya ng accent. Siguro, it will just come out. Pero, kung yung Ewan ko kung nagawi na kayo sa may Olongapo. Do'n kasi ang lakas ng ano do'n, eh, na ang daming foreign mga Amerasians, 'yan. Talagang mukha silang mga Black Americans and pati mga whites. Talagang blanding-blanding ta's nagta-Tagalog sila. As in diretsong-diretso yung Tagalog nila and nangangapampangan pa. Kasi do'n sila lumaki sa area na 'yon, na kung saan yung English is sa Amerika is talagang yun yung first language and then sa sa yung mga naman mga anak ng foreigner na dito lumaki, tamang naka-blonde ang kanilang mga buhok at mukha silang at kamukha nila si Rihanna tsaka si Nicki Minaj, pero nagta-Tagalog sila, yun. Tuloy na lang natin 'to next meeting, itong transformational rules dahil ang haba na ng ating discussion. Hinga muna tayo. Question so far? None. Okay. Malinaw naman. Sabihin nyo pag malabo, kasi medyo crucial talaga 'tong syntax. Sana ewan ko kasi bukas walang klase. So next meeting na ulit, 2 meeting na lang pala tayo. Kasi di na ako magkaklase siyempre ng 21 tsaka 23, finals na yun. Sakto lang. Hindi naman ako magde-demand ng makeup class dahil ang dami niyong ginagawa, di ba? So siguro tapusin lang din natin